Hey guys, and welcome. It's Pete here, and I'm here today with my client and friend James. James, welcome, buddy. Good to have you online.
Hey Pete, how's it going?
Really well, man. Really well. Yeah, thanks for being on here, buddy. I just want to basically have a bit of a chat about our journey or our time, the last several months together, and just sort of reflect. So why don't you just do a super quick introduction of who you are, where you're from, and who you help.
Cool. So my name's James and I'm from New Zealand. Um, I became a personal trainer a little while ago now. I think it was 2017. And anyway, so what happened before I became a trainer, I was actually training for the police, but I couldn't do the police anymore because I got diagnosed with a joint condition, which kind of blocked me from the whole health procedure that they have. Um, and so, yeah, I just jumped straight into PT, not really knowing how to do anything, didn't have any experience running a business. Uh, just knew that I liked exercise and was like, yep, let's go study PT. And so I started there, and it was it was harder than I thought it would be, a lot harder, to the point where it was kind of getting to the point where it's like, why am I even here? I'm making minimum wage in a really difficult job. And I think I saw Pete's ad a couple times, but I'm fine. I'll just keep going. I think I didn't work with Pete until about 3 months after I first saw his ad. Um, and so I was working in a big box gym, and that was going good. But after that, I was also getting married in February this year, and so I was kind of had in my mind, I want to work somewhere else and start brand new. And so when it came to my wedding and going to China for the whole month, I left where I was before to get married. And then when I came back, I was going to be starting at a brand new gym, which was just opening, which I thought was a great opportunity. And so that's where I am now. The gym has been open for a month, and like it's growing, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, man, love that. So if you remember, I think this was, around the fourth quarter of 2018 when we first had that chat.
Mm.
Um, at that stage, what were like the main problems you had right then, or what were the main frustrations you were having?
Definitely, probably number one, my worst, like the worst frustration was my marketing. It was non-existent. Like you say stuff like the worst marketing strategy is hoping and praying, and that was pretty much what it was for me. I wasn't praying, but definitely hoping. Uh, so yeah, I had no marketing strategy. It was just floor walking, but it didn't seem to work most of the time because I didn't actually know how to floor walk properly.
Yeah,
And definitely my sales were pretty terrible as well, and that's not a good combination because if you can't even do sales, like the marketing is doesn't do anything either,
yeah.
or vice
And and
versa.
and what was your pricing like then when we started?
Yeah, I was charging $25 New Zealand, so it's cheaper than AUD, but that was for half an hour, which
Mhm.
was all I could really manage to sell most of the time.
Yeah,
But I also charged 50 for a full hour. And so looking back, that's so low. And now when I think about it, it's like that's poverty wages, especially like with the amount of hours that I was actually doing.
yeah. So it's like you had the trifecta. You had low prices, you had marketing that wasn't really getting any consults or any inquiries, and the sales wasn't really confident either.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So things are pretty like sort of dire straits for you then, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't looking great.
I got to the point where it was like, I just got to get a job. I got to make this work or I got to get a job.
Yeah. And like what impact did that have? You had a wedding in like less than 6 months.
Yeah. Well, it didn't look good because, like I said, with my joint condition, working 40 hours a week for, less than 1,000 a week was something I really didn't want to do because just I couldn't with my joints. I was just in too much pain. So PT appealed to me quite a lot in terms of I can work the hours that I want and I don't have to work a huge amount of hours and it would be fine on my joints. And it has been. but in terms of like finances, it wasn't working.
Mm.
And because the wedding was coming up, weddings are expensive, and we're traveling to China and all that. So it was looking quite scary. Like, even if I was to get a job at that time, I have to apply for leave for a whole month. It's like, it's probably going to get denied.
Yeah.
So it wasn't looking good. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's like I think that happens a lot in the PT where I was like, yeah, I've got this great lifestyle, but the income is so low. It's not really a full-time income at all.
Mm.
So when we started, I still remember the chat, but we basically worked on the pricing and started getting you more consults booked in, right? So do you remember those first, I guess, the first month or the first few weeks of what we did?
Yeah, I remember like a bit about it. Like, I definitely upped my price, and I stopped offering half-an-hour sessions, which was a great thing. You said something about the Chinese takeaway menu. We have so many different options. They don't really know what one to pick. Usually, I'll just pick like the cheapest one. And so I removed the half-an-hour options, and I started only offering twice a week as a minimum, also 3 and 4 times a week. And they bumped the price up from 50 to 70. And it didn't, my sales were actually increasing, because I could come across with my sales consult a bit less, I don't want to say desperate, but it felt like the atmosphere definitely felt different. Like, it was not me trying to sell, but them trying to buy, if that makes sense. And
yeah. Can I just pause on that for a minute? I think that's such a big thing where like we switch that buy-in framework around from, hey, here's my stuff, I'm amazing, to let's help them make a good decision, then they want to join us.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened, and it made it so much easier. And after, like, I wouldn't feel like dirty or anything. Like, before with sales, it was kind of like, especially when I first started, even the other head coaches and the PTs, they would tell you like, yeah, you just got to say this, do that. And, in the back of my mind, like, oh, this is a little bit manipulative sales. And so I didn't like doing sales like that, but I didn't realize there was another way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it hard at first to learn like this new style of being an advisor and helping people? Was that difficult?
No, it wasn't that bad. Like, you gave us like the structure and like some ideas on what we should be saying, and it was just practice it a few times, and then actually going into a consult, you just had to remember like 9 things, and as long as you stayed on track, everything worked pretty well. And once you've done it a few times, you get the hang of it, and it becomes way easier than the first few times.
Yeah, I love that. Cool. So we fixed prices, went from 50 to 70. We changed, I think, some mindset stuff around what actually is selling.
Yeah.
It's just helping people and having there's some structure behind it, sure, and we role play that, but it's really just being an advisor to people. And then what next? Then we booked more consults in, right?
Yep. So I was doing a lot of floor walking so before that, I was doing stuff on Facebook with posting content, giving value. Mm-hmm. And I managed to get, I think, 4 or 5 clients just in the first month, just through Facebook posting, which was awesome. But my Facebook friends list had like less than 200 people, so it wasn't a huge platform for me. Mm-hmm. And so the 4 and 5 was amazing, but after that first month, it wasn't bringing in that many, just organic, I mean.
Yeah.
So I started doing floor walking within like surveys that you told me about, and just became a bit more natural. And yeah, it's worked very well. Like, I managed to book 20 consults within like 2 or 3 weeks just doing surveys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what did you find about the surveys? Like, a lot of people in your shoes, have walked the floor. They know they need to do it, but maybe they're doing it the wrong way. What was different for you from then when we added in this survey technique?
It just became a structure. Like, before, if I was floor walking, it would have been like going around cleaning and trying to have small chat with some members who are working out, but didn't actually really know what to say. Like, it would be like, how's your workout going? Or what are you training today? But it never really led into hey, I can help you, blah, 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 let's meet up for a chat. Or like sometimes it would, but it was hard to maneuver it in that kind of way. With the survey, it was like you had an excuse to go up to someone and have like a real conversation and ask them questions. And then at the end, like if you can help them, then you just tell them, and it's up to them if they want to take you up on that. And so it became a very predictable kind of strategy for getting consults.
Yeah, it works. So I think people look at that as being too simple, but often the most simple things are the best.
Yeah, and I think I was just overcomplicating it but before I had that. So
yeah. So then we really fixed the three problems. We fixed price. We fixed. Did it go up again after going to 70, or we kept it there?
It's gone up again. Yeah, I'm doing 80 now.
Great. So we've almost doubled price, fixed price. We fixed the issue of no consults, and we fixed the issue of being able to sell. So what were the results of like those three things all coming together?
Well, my business definitely grew a lot. I think I got up to around 7,000 in 1 month. And then towards the end, I had to leave to China. So that way it didn't grow much higher. But I did go to Brisbane to meet you at the workshop that you did. So, and that was like, I paid like for the flight tickets and everything and the accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
So looking back, like I was definitely not making less than 500 like I was before a week.
Yeah.
So like just those three things really blew up. And I never actually got into like Facebook ads and stuff, which is something I really kind of regret and I wish I did do. But I think there was something holding me back in terms of actually launching the ad. Like I had everything set up, and I think if I launched it, it would have worked a lot better than without it.
Yeah, man. Well, like you've still got our help and all the content there. Let's still launch those. I think we should. So it's like 7K a month, and it's funny, man. Like I think. Do you think you would have been able to keep growing if there was no wedding and you were still at that gym? Do you think that momentum would have continued?
Yeah, like I think it would have, but the thing with that gym was it wasn't the right environment for me. Like I didn't enjoy being there.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have done it, but I restricted myself to only working in the morning and like mid-afternoon. I refused to work evening just because it was so packed with not only members, but other PTs, and everything felt so chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't enjoy being there in the evening. But that's really like, there's a double-edged sword there, because most prospects and potential clients will be coming after work. So that's one of the biggest reasons that I left that gym.
Yeah, I think like that's just another lesson. That's like a fourth lesson. We've got the other three, but that's like a fourth lesson for any other PTs. Like you don't have to work double shifts. You don't have to be in there every day, morning and night. Like I guess you show that it's possible without Facebook ads and without any paid marketing and without doing all these double split shifts, that it's possible to earn like a really good full-time income.
Yeah, definitely. Like I should have launched that ad, but even without the ad, like I was living quite comfortably. And like if I hadn't have met you and like changed my mindset around money, that would have been like I would have been content with that. Right now I'm not, but back before I met you, like that would have been, wow, this is amazing.
Mm. Yeah, I think now, like, can we talk about that? Like how your money mindset has changed or evolved?
It's definitely done like a 180. Before, I think when we were talking on the phone, you asked how much I wanted to earn a year. And I told you something like 60 to 70K, which looking back now is really laughable. But back then I just thought that was like a normal wage. I don't really care about earning too much, just want to live comfortably. But yeah, you reminded me of things like, well, if someone gets sick, or like if my child needs to get some surgery or something like that, how could I afford that? And so doing stuff like the morning formula that you give us really helped a lot with that. But I find myself just when I think about if someone tells me the price of something, like I asked my doctor how much a dermatologist would cost without insurance. They said like it would be like 300 to 500 a consultation. It's like, oh, that's not too bad. Whereas before it would have been like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything is just done a flip. Like right now, for my current, I guess, income goal, I want to be making close to like 150,000, but then after that, it's got to go up even higher, and that's it's like 100,000 more than it was initially. So it's really crazy how different it is compared to when before I met you. And when I'm talking to people and they're talking about money and all that, I can feel that they're still in that old kind of scarcity mindset around money, and it just feels different.
Yeah, I think it's like we talk about self-awareness a lot. I think like it's just this awareness of like what's possible, what's real, what the limits are.
Yeah.
And
talking to people about it is quite funny though, because you'll be talking about how much people are charging and how much things cost, and you can feel they get sort of stressed out about it a little bit. Like, oh man, that's a lot of money. And for me, it's like, oh, it's not too bad. A little bit ironic, but yeah.
A little bit, yeah. It's just growth, man. It's like it's cool to see your evolution and the growth that's happened. Yeah. So, man, what do you think were the main lessons that you've learned along the way?
Yeah. Well, before I met you, I wasn't very close with my family. Like, I was fine with my mum, dad, and sister, but with my extended family, I didn't really talk to them, and I didn't really have much connection with them. And I'm not sure what the reason for that would have been, but it was something to do with anxiety, I think. Or, but doing the program with you and going through that whole experience has changed quite drastically. Where it was, I felt like I had more empathy for people, and I could understand where people were coming from a bit better. And it really got me reconnected with my extended family a lot more, which I'm really happy about that. Like, even if I didn't hit the income goals that I wanted to hit, like that was definitely worth it enough. Like friendships and like relationships with my family has skyrocketed since before I met you. It's a weird thing because I don't know exactly where in the program that would connect to, but it was just like a byproduct of working with you.
Yeah, man, I've never heard you say that. That's cool to know and cool feedback. I think they say like business is the best personal development tool ever, because like you face failure, you face feedback, you get rejection, like you become a better human. So I think it helps with so many things. Cool. All right, man. So if let's say you met someone who was where you were 12 months ago, and they were maybe thinking of joining or even just thinking of having a chat with me or my team, what would you say to the people in that situation?
There has been a few times actually where that's happened, where I've suggested you. Like there was a trainer back in my old gym who had just started, and he was thinking about working with another coach, which I didn't really know much about. And so I told him, like, have a phone call with him and let me know how it goes. But if you want to know, I've got someone that I've worked with who, it really works. Like it really helps. It's worth the investment. And I think he did get in contact with you, and you did have that phone call. I'm not sure where he is at now because I haven't seen him in a few months. He's actually gotten married. But yeah, like that exact thing's actually happened.
Do you know what that reminded me of? We did have a call, and I actually told him that the timing wasn't right. I think people think they might get in a call with me and I'm like so salesy and pushy, but often I say like no to people. It wasn't in his best interest to start straight away. So
yeah, he was quite new to the business, I think.
Yeah, very new. Cool, man. Any final thoughts from you, or anything else you want to add?
Final thoughts. Like, I feel like at the moment I'm kind of restarting with my business, and when I see the free stuff that you put out, it kind of reminds me about what the program went through before. Like you were talking on the on one of your videos recently, and I was just listening to it, and I remembered some really key, like really important stuff which I kind of forgot, that we learned in the program. And I think I commented that I can't believe you're giving this stuff out for free.
Yeah.
Because that's like you're talking all about how to pick your right niche and how to market specifically to those people. And it's like, yeah, it's basic stuff that I should have like known off the top of my head, but hearing it, I realized, hey, like I got to laser focus back into that. And so it's really helpful with starting fresh like I am now.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There's lots of unfortunately bad advice out there. So I think just to be like, just tell people the truth, you know, what they need to succeed.
Yeah, but other than that, like I think we've gone through pretty much all of it.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. Well, hey, I want to thank you for giving up your time today, for jumping on here, and hopefully people watching this in the future can relate to a part of your story, and it will definitely help them out. So thanks, man.
Cool. Thanks, Pete.
And guys, if you're watching this and you want any more help from me or my team, there should be a button below or next to this video, wherever you're seeing it, a link to basically book a call with me or my team where we have a brainstorm with you. There's no pitch on the call. It's purely to see if we can help and how we can help with your marketing, with your sales, with your pricing, just with scaling your business in general. If we can't help you, we're very honest with you. If we can, great. We can show you how we can do that. So click that link if you want more help, and we can go from there. But for now, James and I are out of here. So thanks again, James. We'll talk soon.
Cheers, mate.